Hello and welcome everyone, Chisel Chip here, and you saw it right in the title. I'm going to be teaching you in this video how to moonwalk with just 6 clicks per second, or 6 CPS. And that's in total. That's not 6 clicks for every 1 click, that is 6 clicks per second. If you can basically do a small drag click on your mouse, and I'll teach you all the basics to this, then you will be able to moonwalk with any mouse. And yes, I've tried this on a $3 Amazon Basics mouse and it still works well. Alright, so let's get into this video. Basically, the first thing I'm going to teach you to do are the clicks, and that's why I have this hand cam here with the mouse. Don't mind my long fingernails, I do play guitar, I'll get into that later. Anyway, look at my screen on the right hand corner, upper right hand corner. I show my keystrokes here, as you can see, flashing in white, and then my CPS. Alright, so the right mouse button, the left mouse button, but you'll want to keep an eye on the right mouse button for this video. You're basically going to want to either tap your mouse or do kind of a short little drag click on the end here where you can kind of get your skin to vibrate across the end of the mouse button. You don't even need to drag click down the mouse button like this, like you see most people doing with the fancy mice that can drag click like 40 CPS. You're just going to need to do like a little end click here. And that's all you need. As long as you click about 1 or 2 CPS per click, it'll work. So you can see here that I placed 2 blocks. Every time I click, I place 2 blocks. Alright, if you can get consistent about that, which I'm not. A lot of times I just end up placing 1 block. But if you can get consistent about placing 2 blocks per click, you're going to be really, really good at this moonwalking. But trust me, that's not all to the video. You're going to need to learn impeccable timing for this. And even I am not that great at it. And disclaimer, it is the kind of video that I'm just going to be teaching you a tip to basically flex on your friends. Because it's not a video that you can get consistent at. Alright, your basic, good old speed bridge is honestly probably as good as it's going to get for consistency. You don't fall and you actually go pretty fast. And I've timed it from here to here on the high pixel bridging practice. You might get about 1 to 2 seconds faster full moonwalking all the way across straight line than you would just doing the speed bridge. So it's not crazy worth it, but it's a cool skill to learn. So with that, let's get into how to basically control your A, S, and D keys to get the timing down. This is the most important part of moonwalk. You basically first off kind of want to line it up like a speed bridge with pressing the S and D, or A and S if you want to go the other way. Basically just reverse the A and the D for whatever I'm saying if you prefer A and S. But for me, I'm comfortable with S and D, so we're going to do that for this video. Alright, so basically pressing S and D, lining it up so that you're on the edge of the block and making sure that your crosshair is pretty much at the upper corner of that block. Still on this face, not on this top face, but not right at the bottom. It's going to be a little easier if you're somewhere near the top. Alright, and then I would recommend a crosshair with a little dot in the middle or with a center point. You can do it with a bigger crosshair, but something with a center point is just easier in terms of getting everything lined up right. And you can also turn the directions on in Lunar Client if you do have Lunar Client. You just hit the Shift, Settings, and then you literally just start typing in direction, and you'll see this direction HUD. Just click that and enable it. And up here at the very top of the screen, you'll see the direction you're facing. So for lining up, you may actually want to have this on, because you'll basically want to line it up like a speed bridge, except you'll want to be slightly creeping up toward the top of the block as you press S and D and hold Shift. Alright, and then as you press A, or if you're reversed as you press D, you'll basically want to be kind of coming down the block at a similar rate as you kind of tap A. So you want to like start tapping A at a pretty fast rate and be sure you can stay centered. If you're tapping A at a fast rate and you keep creeping down like this, you gotta move your mouse around so that you're centered in that block and you're not moving up and down. And you can kind of get that wiggle movement going. For me, that's about the 210 at the top there. When that little arrow points to 210 north, east, right there, that's pretty much where it would be. Or if you're facing the other way, it would probably be around the 150 northwest. all right? But 210 northeast, you're gonna wanna line it up at about that. And again, you should try and practice this by eye so that you don't always need the directions to be displayed at the top of your screen, but for learning, it's gonna help you a bit. All right, so now, basically when you have this movement down of this wiggling back and forth without creeping up too far to the top of the block or without creeping too far to the bottom of the block, you're gonna wanna start placing blocks and go slow. Every time you release the A key, every time you lift up on the A key, kind of like speed bridging, every time you lift up on the shift, you place a block. So every time you lift up on the A key, place a block. And place that block with your little double click. For me, I can kind of just tap it a little bit because I'm using the glorious Model O, and it has a double click function to where if you tap it just the right way, it'll kind of bounce your finger off of it and get 2 clicks in 1 click. Or if you don't have a double clicking mouse, I've tested this on about 5 different non-double clicking mice, you just kind of bounce your finger on the edge here and it works just as well. So again, every time you lift up on the A key, just bouncing your finger on the edge, or in my case, tapping your finger on the edge, and just getting this movement down. Just get this movement down, and trust me, the more practice, the better it's gonna be before you start going fast. Just get this movement down so that you don't notice yourself eventually creeping up to the top like this after only placing 4 blocks, or you're not gonna be able to get very far in your moonwalk. It has to be lined up really well. And again, staying nice and centered here without creeping too far to the bottom. See here, I'm kind of creeping too far to the bottom. And again, if you kind of end up creeping to one way or the other, if you're really, really good later down the road, you can kind of make slight corrections as you're moonwalking with your mouse if you notice yourself creeping up or down. But for this video, just try and learn to be as centered as possible. Seriously, as centered as possible. So get used to that. And first, get used to this clicking to hopefully place 2 blocks. So basically, once you get good at sort of this double clicking and staying on the block, then you'll start basically letting go of shift. And you can see that the speed is going to be about like this. And hopefully you can hear my mouse clicking. If not, it's pretty much dun 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 dun. All right, it's a really, really refined rhythm, and the rhythm is so specific. The more you do it, the more that rhythm will get into your head and into your muscle memory, and the easier it's gonna get over time. But just getting that rhythm and watching lots of people just do it for the sake of it. So I'm just gonna do it a few times, kind of to get back into my rhythm, so that you guys can see what ends up working really well for me. So you can see that even just this slight bit off of my rhythm, and as I keep practicing this rhythm, even just right now in this video, I'll start going slightly farther. And talking while doing it, you can see I'm much better without talking. So talking will definitely hurt your rhythm if you're on a Discord call or whatever. For practicing purposes, have it nice and quiet and just keep going. That one was a little bit better, but again, the more centered you are, can't say this enough, the more centered you are, the longer you're gonna go for. You can see here, pretty much the reason I'm falling is because I'll either creep up to one edge or creep up to the other, or my crosshair will go down. That's another really hard part about this, is that your mouse, you'll want to keep it in the same position. If I really aggressively drag clicked, you can see that my mouse pad is pretty silky smooth. So my mouse is kind of going to shake around, and that's not going to be good. So you have to find that just that right tap that's just enough to get that 2 clicks when you click, but not move your mouse all around or bump it with your hand. Because every time you bump it with your hand, it's going to be off and you're going to fall. So once you have this down, I would recommend going in increments of about 7 or 8 and then pausing, realigning, and going another 7 or 8 blocks. Alright, so that was 7. I'm going to stop, I'm going to realign my crosshair, my direction. 7 more, realign, make sure everything's going straight. And again, I fell there, but as you can see, going in little increments like that will get you quite a bit farther and get you used to being really straight and fixing the corrections that you need to make along the way. So as you can see there, once you get the timing down in your hands and your brain and all of it, you can start having a lot of fun with it. You can start staircasing with it to get height. You can basically start going in longer increments before you have to reset. And then eventually, if you really wanted to get good at it, I have not put the effort in, but feel free to put the effort in and go all the way to the other island with one straight line. If this video does help you though, please leave a like. Consider subscribing, and if you want to connect live, the link to my Twitch is in the description of every video as well. And yeah, to recap this video, get the timing down, get your clicks down, get the direction down, and also just relax. Just breathe and relax, or your fingers are going to get really tight, your back is going to get tight, all of it. So be sure to breathe, because you're going to get really frustrated after the first few times of trying. Trust me, I've at least done this for quite a few hours before doing this tutorial, before I was able to get 9 blocks, 10 blocks in a row. It definitely takes some work, it takes some mind and energy. So just relax, have fun with it, and best of luck. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.